few weeks ago, I was driving one Saturday and listening to my one of my favorite NPR stations, KPCC, and caught a what I guess could only be called a radio documentary, an hour-long radio documentary about the tragic fire in the Oakridge Estates mobile home park in Sylmar, in our district. It was an incredible piece of work because it was a radio documentary. There was no film, obviously, no pictures. The pictures were painted by the words of the writers and the spoken word of the broadcasters, and most importantly, the spoken words of the victims themselves, who told the story of the night of the fire, and then the aftermath, which they are still living with as we speak. Frank Stoltze and Queena Kim were principally responsible for this outstanding journalistic effort in producing this hour-long program. The program was called The Ashes of Oakridge, chronicling the devastating property losses suffered by the residents of the Oakridge mobile home estates, which lost more than 500 of the 600 mobile homes in last fall's wildfire. This is the single largest loss of residences of any fire in the history of the city of Los Angeles, significantly larger than the Bel Air fire of 1961. Frank Stoltze did a lot of the field reporting, interviewing, and some editing, while Queena did much of the editing and shaping and producing of individual segments. They co-wrote the documentary together. In the words of the executive producer, John Raby, who is with us today, the program, and I quote, not only recounted the damage the fire did and considered its causes and possible remedies to prevent similar catastrophes in the future, but gave voice to its victims and the heroes who fought the fire, and also told the story of an extraordinary community. So we wanted to honor KPCC, but especially Frank and Queena, with these proclamations signed by all 5 of us. KPCC is an outstanding radio station. I think it's the flagship of in-depth news coverage and analysis, and it's this kind of reportage which distinguishes it from just about everybody else. You wouldn't find an hour dedicated to this kind of a story on any other station of which I'm aware in this community. So, on behalf of all 5 members of the board, Frank, let me give you this proclamation. Where are you? Okay.
Thank you, Supervisor.
And Queena, this is for you.
Thank you very much.
And we have a copy of the, they have provided a copy, a CD of the broadcast for all the members of the board, which we will, if we haven't already, we will provide for you. And can people hear it online?
Yes, they can.
So when you get up here, you tell people how they can do that, because millions of people watch this program, and they're just dying to hear what we and you have to say. Seriously, this is an hour-long program that is worth listening to. It's gripping, and it's one of those things where you could say that there, but for the grace of God, it could have been any one of us in a situation of danger, our lives saved by heroic firefighters, and Providence, frankly, but yet experiencing tremendous loss. Thank you for doing that, for educating the community at large, and for helping to bring focus to this very tragic event. So let me ask Frank to say a word, and then Queena and John. And
Thank you, Supervisor. First and foremost, we should thank the residents of Oakridge. It's always difficult to speak with reporters, and you supervisors know this. And particularly at a time of great loss for the residents of Oakridge to open up their lives essentially to us and talk frankly and honestly with us was a great privilege. Also like to thank KPCC for giving us the opportunity to do this kind of work. KPCC is committed to in-depth coverage of Southern California. I think this is a good example of that. Off-Ramp, which is heard Saturdays at noon every day, is a great forum for this in particular, and that's where this particular show was aired. It is available online at kpcc.org if you just click on the Off-Ramp connection.
It's hard to upstage that one. I just wanted to thank, I agree with you, the residents of Oakridge. It was sort of amazing how much they shared with us and how open they were and how many things they sort of taught you in the process. So I think they sort of are the biggest thanks. And then I'd also like to thank Paul and John for giving Frank and I the opportunity to do this. And thank you very much for the award.
Thank you. Let me ask the executive producer of and the host, right? The host of Off Ramp, John Raby, to say a couple of words, and then I'm going to ask Paul Glickman, who's the news director for KPCC, to say a word. So.
I'm John. I was the executive producer on this project, which mainly means I get to stand up here and share in the reflected glory of the two hardworking reporters and producers. I only kicked them in the butt a couple of times and said, "Oh, that looks really good. Let's put that on the air." The Associated Press or the RTNA give out awards for stories, sometimes for good editing or good sound or good writing. I feel like the award that Queena and Frank have won is because the story mattered and gave voice to a community that might not have had that voice made public. So I'm very proud of them. I'm very deeply appreciative that Supervisor Yaroslavsky recognized us and their work in this manner. And I actually have about 15 physical copies of the CD if anybody wants to have a copy and take it home. So just after we're done, come on up and I'll give you one if you like. And please spread it around, let everybody know that the more people hear this, the more the voices of this community is heard. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Supervisor Yaroslavsky, for recognizing the documentary, and congratulations, Frank and Queena, for your excellent work on this. I had a fairly small role in this one. It was my idea to do the documentary, but Frank and Queena did all the work. And thank you, Supervisor, for recognizing KPCC and the role that we play in the community and are trying to play. We do try to present the news that's important to the people of Southern California in an in-depth way with a lot of analysis and intelligent discussions. So hopefully, if you're not already a listener, check us out. It's 89.3 KPCC on your FM dial and kpcc.org. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Thank you all. I sincerely hope that you will, I don't know what the nominating process is for Golden Mikes, but this is a slam dunk if there ever was one. It's a great, don't jinx it. Well, don't do any hit pieces on us, and we won't jinx you. This is your one and only resolution from the Board of Supervisors, so it covers anything you do from this point forward. Thank you very much, both of you. You did a great job and a great public service, and that's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Why don't you guys get in the middle? Well, why don't we take one?